Good morning. Today is Friday, January 8th, and we welcome you back to another Friday morning conversation with Pastor Philomena.
I guess we haven't talked, so Happy New Year for 2021.
Happy New Year.
We're glad you're joining us again, and we are glad that you've been sending your questions, and we're trying to answer them. So the first thing we want to talk about this morning conversation is, first, we would like to apologize for the sound system on Sunday during the worship service, that we had a little problem with the sound, that some people couldn't hear the music and part of the communion. So we apologize. We're working extra hard to make sure it does not happen again. So please forgive us.
The other thing we wanted to mention is the mission study. You still have time to return your survey that the mission study group sent you a while back. If you need a copy, you can find it on our website, spcsaginaw.org. And Philomena, what happens once we get those surveys back? Right now, we're compiling the results. Even though they're being compiled, you can still get your survey in. You'll get in the results
As soon as possible. Once the compiling is complete, we will put everything together. We are halfway through making sure that we have all the information that is needed. And then we will send it to Presbyterian office for approval. Once they give us the approval, it goes to session, and session will put their stamp on it. Once that approval stamp is on, then we can start forming a PNC. And so right now we are waiting on you and counting on you to help us to complete this mission study so that we can continue with the process. It is a slow process, but it's a discernment process and prayerful process. So help us so that we can together work together to get this mission study complete and move on to the next step in calling an installed pastor.
So our process is we complete studies.
Right.
The mission study group compiles all the results.
Right.
Puts together the mission study.
Right.
The mission study goes to Presbyterian.
Yes.
Presbyterian approves it. Goes to our session.
Right.
They approve it.
Right. And then once Presbyterian approves it, we are on the track of forming a PNC.
And the PNC is the group that looks for the next installed pastor.
Yes. They will begin with a training, and after the training, then they will fill up mission information form, MIF it's called, mission information form of the church. And this form is going to depend on the mission study to be completed. And that is why we are so stressing so much about making sure your input counts by returning to us your mission surveys that we send to you, the mission study survey. Once the PNC is formed and trained and they fill the form and put it in a database, then they will begin to receive referrals through the database to get ready to review. So it is a long process, but it's doable even in the midst of times like COVID trials and we're not worshiping indoors. This can also be completed.
But it will take some time.
It will take some time.
It's not done overnight. So.
It's not going to be done overnight. It is a process. And as each process, it takes time. So we are asking you to pray and also have patience because the process works. We can't rush to finishing it up. It requires a lot of steps, and you don't want to miss any steps, and then we'll have to go back to fix that steps before you can move forward. So I encourage you all to work with us and to have patience as we are moving forward. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, I know some of you may have received a letter that we have lost some of our staff members, including our music director. There is a search in place right now to find a new music director to help us with our worship service. So I encourage you to put this on your prayer list as well as the team work together to find another replacement for Michael Wetcher, who is our music director, and it's leaving us now.
In other news, we have a newsletter coming out soon.
Yes,
so that
by
will,
the end of the week.
That will be in your mailboxes and in your email boxes, so keep an eye out for that, for more happenings here at Second Presbyterian Church.
Envelopes. Your giving envelopes are ready in the foyer of the entrance. So please call ahead to the church office if you would like to come and pick yours up, so you make sure there is somebody in the office to open the door for you. So your envelopes are ready to be picked up. Please make a note of that. Session will be meeting next week, Tuesday. So if you have any questions that you want to bring to session, we ask that you send us email or call the church office. Session have been working behind the scene via Zoom meetings to make sure the church is running smoothly. And so we have a meeting coming up, and at the same time, thinking about when we can open the church doors again. So we ask that you continue to pray and stay safe and stay tuned as to when the church doors can be open, following the guidelines that has been given to us through the Michigan Health Department and the Presbyterian.
So keep an eye on your emails and your snail mail and YouTube for further updates.
Yes.
In history.
Yes.
The last time we talked about our history, and we stopped at Easter Sunday, 1935. That was when our church reopened on that great Easter Sunday. And what happened after that? The little congregation that reopened the church, some of them were actually from the original church that had closed in 1917. This area of Saginaw Township was growing at that point, so the church continued to grow. In 1946, Reverend Warren Shelley came to Second Presbyterian Church. And Reverend Shelley helped to grow the church as well, having a first full-time pastor here. So the church continued to grow, and by 1948, there was need for more room. We just had the one-room church, which was on this property, a little bit to the north of our current building. So we needed a bigger church. So in 1948, ground was broken for an addition to the church. We still have that building. It's our gym, known as Shelley Hall, named after Reverend Warren Shelley. So 1948, we break ground. Took 5 years to complete the building. The members did a lot of the work themselves. The first part that was completed was the basement. They wanted to get the basement done so they could have a place for fundraisers. They did a lot of fundraising dinners back then as a way to make money to build the building. So a lot of members have talked about how they worked at the church, they laid tile in the basement. We've got some members that helped to actually tile the outside, the perimeter of the building. So by 1953, that building was done. It was standing. That was our sanctuary upstairs, and in the basement were classrooms and the kitchen. In 1949, Reverend Warren Shelley was installed as our first full-time pastor. So he served from 46, and then in 49 he was installed. And he continued to serve the church. The church grew to about 400 members under Reverend Warren Shelley. So we'll leave you there. Reverend Warren Shelley serving at 1949, and we'll pick up next time with more history.
Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, we are ready for your questions, any topics you would like us to talk about. Please do not hesitate to send us email or call the church office so that we can add this to the next conversation we're going to have next Friday morning, next week. So in the meantime, have a blessed and a peaceful and a safe first week in 2021. There is hope with the vaccination around, so let us be safe and love our neighbor as ourselves. Amen.
Take care.